All right, and we're live. Hey, everyone. I am coming live on my personal Facebook page, and it's something I don't talk about a lot. I actually have a YouTube channel as well where I'm kind of collecting multiple videos that I create. So if you're interested in that, I'll send you the link for it as well at the end of this live. But I am doing a live today, and I'm so excited to talk about this. And Ashley and Shane, I didn't even tell you, but there is this whole other thing that will come up on the live as people are scrolling across Facebook. And basically, I said in the title, why do I want to know about CBD or something along those lines? Oh, why would I be interested in CBD? And so I just wanted to have a conversation with you two. You're a married couple here, local in Harriman, who started a company. And so I just want to have a conversation with you. Let everyone to know why you started this company. Let everyone know why I also believe in the benefits and suggest the benefits of CBD to my clients, my customers as well. And I want to say too, I can see Facebook is now letting people know that we're live, and I can see one person has hopped on so far. So I always love to know who you are. If you let me know in the comment box, I can read those and always send a little extra love. And if you're here on the replay as well, yeah, a couple people now, or on the replay, you could click replay, comment, maybe even tag anyone as you are listening to us have this conversation that you think could really benefit from CBD, right? And so the conversation, I think, could really lead us into those who maybe have tried CBD and not really found the benefits that they're looking for. Or the other side of that, I talked to a lot of people who has never even tried CBD because it feels like it's almost like this huge rush in the market that came to it. And like we were talking about, there's so many different options out there that can almost feel overwhelming as to like, why would I choose this company over another one? And so I think that's the resonant energy that we have together and the reason why I've linked up with you two and with Playful Hearts. So we can talk about that. Hey, Rosalie. So I'd like to kick off just by first and foremost just introducing you, Ashley, and you, Shane. And maybe let's just go right into it if you're okay with that. And I'd like to ask you like the reason for you starting your company, because it resonated with me so much when I just happened to meet you at a Mother's Day boutique, right? And here we are now, and I'm carrying your products in my studio. So we'll talk about that as well at the end. How you can purchase. You don't have to be local. If you are, I'd love to meet you in my studio. But if you are anywhere in the world, right, shipping happens. It's a thing. And so we can drop ship, we can send it to you as well. So without further ado, I'm going to just like kind of hand the baton over to you both. And let everyone know, the benefits. And hey, Eddie, as you guys are coming on live here too, I'm just reading the comments off to the side. I know you can't see it. So
like I can't see anything.
Yeah. If you have any questions, like Eddie said, love this, right? So if you have any questions about CBD, about the benefits, anything along those lines, now would be a great time while we have Ashley and Shane here live to answer them. But feel free, again, in the comment box, come back and you can ask any questions, and Ashley and Shane will be tagged here and they'll see your comments and they can be able to answer, respond to you if it's a question. Yeah.
Okay. I'll let Ashley take the lead right here.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Ashley, and we are parents of 5 kids. And with that, we have one that was born with spina bifida, and she has a lot of medical complications. And she was coming up on like her 30th surgery about 3 years ago. And we would have her go in for surgery. Well, like my mom would go in for surgery and they would be like, oh, you only get like 15 oxy. And they would limit all of her stuff. But then when my daughter would go in for surgery at such a young age, she would come out with like 30 oxy and all of these other medications. And her system started shutting down and her intestines weren't working as well. And they were already struggling to begin with because of the spina bifida. And so we started looking for a new solution because we saw that this wasn't helping her. It was making it harder for her. Plus, we have a huge crisis going on with opioids. And the more that she does them, the more susceptible she is to join that crowd. And that was a big fear that both of us had with her. So we started searching and finding a way, and we came across CBD. And at first when we tried it, we were like, oh, this has to be great. And so we grabbed like a 3,000 milligram bottle and we tried it and we're like, I noticed nothing. Like nothing happened. I'm like, how could 3,000 milligrams do nothing?
Wow.
And so we were like, never mind, let's not go this route. But we actually ran into somebody else who started educating us and teaching us. And so we started gathering all of these educators to be able to help us learn more about CBD and why that one worked or didn't work and why other ones do work. So we started using the ones that do work with Angelita, and we noticed results within 20 minutes. And she put some on her hands and she went to go roll away in her wheelchair. And she turned to me and she goes, my hands don't hurt. And I was like, I didn't even know your hands hurt. And so it was such a huge change. We started doing it twice a day for just like 3 to 4 days. And the swelling that was medically induced by the medication that they had her on went away. And it was something that they told us that we couldn't fix. It was something that they said was going to be chronic with her forever because of where she was in life. And we started using it in many other ways and started using it on all the inflammation throughout her body. And it was game changer. And so we started investing more into it to be able to figure out other ways on how it can help. So we started having her use it before medical procedures and before she was going into the hospital. And we saw that her behavior started changing where she could step into these scary places and it wasn't quite so scary anymore. And so she started taking charge of her own appointments where she was actually talking to the doctor and actually taking charge of her life. And there were so many changes that we started seeing with her. We're like, oh my gosh, more people need to know about this and more people need to have access to really good CBD and learn what we learned in 3 years, but we're wanting to teach them a lot faster so they can get results a lot faster.
Yeah. So we were actually traveling across from we first started, was it in Oregon or Florida?
Florida.
Yeah, we're in Florida. We're buying a whole bunch of stuff in Florida because Florida's apparently really good, right? And we did, like she said, with the 3,000, we were doing way more than that. I mean, we're spending left and right. And then we went all the way down to Oregon. We're going buying. And I mean, we're trying all sorts of things. So that 3 years was a lot of test trials and finding out not all of them were created equal. Not at all.
Yeah.
Some were isolates, broads, and then you found out the fulls. And some of those isolates, man, you take them, you don't just won't feel anything.
Well, the thing with an isolate is that it's only CBD. It doesn't have any of the other cannabinoids inside of it, which are extremely important because every cannabinoid or minor cannabinoid does something. And they all have their own purpose. And if you only choose to have just one, which is the CBD, then that actually has to build up into your system where you have to take a daily dose every day for at least 30 days before you can start noticing a difference in your mental well-being or noticing a difference in the inflammation in your body. But when you have a full spectrum, which takes the whole plant, then you actually get results within 20 minutes. And it's a lot quicker, faster, better results that you can do in the moment instead of having to take something every single day. You can actually use it when you need it.
And it's also the minor cannabinoids that have a lot to do with it too. So so much education to it. It was crazy, that amount of time.
Yeah, I think that's why. I mean, that was my first attraction to you both, right? Into your company was your why. The reason I think that such beautiful companies are born from when they're heart led, right? They're heartfelt. And so to have a child where let me be their best advocate. And when, they need the surgeries, they need these things that we utilize in Western medicine, how can I, as their parent, help them, support them? And that just beautifully evolved into creating a company that is not only going to benefit her, but so many others as well. And I think that's why we're doing this live. And this is why we're getting the information out there. Go ahead.
So it's funny that you said that because we initially had no intention of making a business at all. Zero. It's literally to save your daughter's life, right? Because you're seeing stuff and you're like, things are failing, and doctors are important. Yeah. A lot of the surgeries are important, but when they're medicating for things that don't necessarily need to be medicated. And like what she was even talking about, the opioid, it took away her ability to regulate her own temperature.
Yeah.
That was one of the side effects. And that's kind of like when we're like, okay, no, this is kind of the end straw here. And that was a byproduct, no longer to be able to regulate.
Right.
And then, of course, after mommy took care of her daughter, then she starts taking care of herself. And she has fibromyalgia.
Yeah.
Fibromyalgia and PTSD from going through Angelita's journey with her, because there were many times we thought she wasn't going to make it. She's 13 now, and we're going on her 35th surgery. But her surgeries have gone down to 1 a year. So if you do the math ratio of 35 and being 13, I call that a huge success.
That's been
wow. And I think that it so speaks into, this is also what I teach, right? A beautiful surprise. I have my brick and mortar where I teach Pilates, right? And that's the physical aspect. That's as much as Pilates is inward movement, it's about the breath work, it's about the mind-body connection. It's a movement system, it's a workout. And so I think of that as like the outside coming in, right? And then we've talked a lot about this because, we both, Shane and I, in the Reiki world, right? Reiki masters, Reiki practitioners. And so I just want to address this because I can feel right now some people listening, because what I teach in a lot of my coursework is that you have everything that you will ever need in life innately, intuitively to heal yourself. And I 100% believe in that. Mm-hmm. And if you utilize something on the outside of you for a while, for a moment, that's okay also, right? It's like giving yourself permission to walk this line and find out what's going to work for you. Mm-hmm. And so like you said, doctors are important, right? So like whatever your belief system is along those lines, and I was quoting you when I said that, right? Yeah. I agree. And I believe that as well. Like my kids are under insurance that covers them for what I call it the Western medicine, right? Yeah. And so it's all of that. I think it's you being your own best advocate for yourself and understanding what's going to work for you. And it doesn't have to be, I'm only all natural, holopathic, all of the things, holistic, and I won't take anything on the outside of me. You got to figure out what's going to work for you. And so this is why I love linking up with you as well, is so many of my clients come to me and there's an ingrained belief system that I need something on the outside of me, right? Like you talk about opioids, whatever that thing might be. And so if we can offer them something that is like the product that you offer through the CBD, and it does literally everything you could ever imagine that would be in the medicine cabinet, but in a really healthy kind of way. And this is me, like full disclosure, saying this, and that does all of the benefits as well, right? So there's zero harm plus all the benefits, you get your choices. I literally took a screenshot yesterday from a client who listed out so many different medications that her doctor, since she started working with me in February, it might have been April even, I'm thinking it was February or April, her doctor has weaned her off and told her she can go off of it after being on them for years and years and years. Wow. We're offering people that might be listening, right, that's pulled to this, like there's options, and there's a reason why you're here, and there's a reason why you're listening to this. And that's basically what we're doing, right? We've got this product, we can offer it to you. Of course, legalities, right, that we have to say, ask your doctor if it's great for you, ask your doctor if they can, if you can combine it with what you're doing already. And, I don't know if you do this, Ashley and Shane, but I work with different surgeons and physicians, especially in the Pilates world, to help people get weaned off of their physical therapy that they're doing and everything else. And so it's one of those things we can work synergistically with. And, I tell myself every day, I choose to live in a Western world. I choose to live here. And I'm grateful that we have all of the options. Yeah. It really is like that's the thing, I could sense some of my clients out there going, but what you teach us is how to go within and how to literally heal yourself from the inside out. And so that's what I'm saying. We're talking about plant medicines. We're talking about the DNA that we have within us with the DNA that's in the plant, and they understand and they speak to one another, right? They speak to the cells in our body, speaks to the cells of the plant. And that's the synergy of the healing energy that comes in and arrives from within, and it starts from without, right? But this is the Taurus field that we're consistently moving through.
Yeah. I love how you say that, because that's exactly how we perceive CBD is we're like, this isn't a forever. This is a tool. And it's a tool that you use to help you get to where you want to be. So I started using it with my PTSD. And I've had anxiety since I was a kid. It was a really weird upbringing that I had. And it then transformed into my adult life, right? And so anxiety has been a thing that I've had to deal with for a long time. But then when I started using our CBD, I started noticing that I was getting less and less triggers. And so it also gave me an opportunity for us to connect, because when he would notice that I was starting to have anxiousness, or I was starting to get irritable, or I was having all the signs of anxiety, I didn't notice because I'm like, this is normal, but he noticed. So he would come up to me and he would be like, here's a bottle. And then he would walk away. Yeah. He's like, I think you might need some CBD. And then it's my choice. It's my choice to either be resentful and be like, I can't believe you think I'm grouchy, and put it away. Or it's my choice to be like, I really want this journey to change, and I'm going to take it so that I can get a shift within 5 to 20 minutes and continue on with my day without having so much tension in my chest or thoughts inside of my mind, because it cleared my mind and it allowed me to let go of stress that was unnecessary, that my mind just kind of like put in there. And so I used to use way more and more often. And now I'm at the point where I don't need it every single day, and I don't need it for anxiety as much. And I've even been able to find my own triggers that have been going through with my PTSD, where I started hoarding my daughter's pictures because, you know, the fear. And I started noticing that I could start letting those go and change my mindset on it. And it even starts to bring me to tears now, because I can bond with her better because I don't have so much fear of our journey together.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I mean, the phrase that I think of often is that, you know, it's like you can't see the trees for being in the forest, and then you don't recognize that you are the tree in the forest, right? And so, it's kind of, that's kind of what you're talking about, is we get so used to our status quo. We get so used to like this anxiety, this or this anxiousness, right? Like, to use those terms, or just feeling kind of down, or like, what's the point? Like, all of the things, it becomes the status quo and we don't even realize that we're living in it. So how beautiful to have someone else to be like, hey, do you think you want to, you know, this is the thing, until you start to notice it for yourself, right? But yeah, there's a universal law of polarity that like we just don't see it within ourselves because we're within it. So understanding by contrast, how beautiful. Yeah.
And it was a journey for me too, far as not giving her the bottle and go, open up.
That didn't go well.
It didn't go over well. So there was many learning.
Right.
I was like, oh,
the husband, you gotta learn, right?
Maybe I should just offer it.
Yeah. Right. That's hilarious. I was like,
I also loved it because
like a little baby bird, right? Like,
yeah, that's what.
Nope, she doesn't want that.
Like, whoa, okay, yep, backing off.
Now you
know. Start skimmering off.
Yeah. I'd like to share my story as to like how I discovered CBD and my faith, my belief in it. And then I will let everyone know how they can purchase your product through the studio and get amazing results and amazing pricing and deals and all of the things, right? So yeah, Eddie's giving you smiles and hearts here. I'll put it up there.
Yeah.
So it was probably, I don't even know, maybe 5 years ago-ish. She's 10 now, but my middle child, she got a retainer, and it was cemented to her two back teeth, and the wire went behind the back of her bottom row of her teeth, and she instantly changed. Instantly, right? Like, we could talk about the energy lines between like what those two back teeth mean and the wire in the back of her teeth, besides all of the other things that we know about, like just this foreign object in, you know, the throat chakra into the third eye chakra.
Yeah.
And so again, this is like where we walk the line, right? Where, like I said, it's Western medicine. So we put a retainer in her mouth. She had a permanent tooth, or she had not a permanent tooth. She had baby teeth pulled before they were ready. So that's the reason for the retainer, but she instantly changed. Like, you could see it in her eyes. She didn't like it. Who would, right? It's very different. They're very foreign. And she got this on, I believe it was on a Thursday afternoon. And by Friday afternoon, I called the dentist back and I said, she's not eating, she's not drinking, she's not talking. Like she's holding her mouth so still. Her lips were starting to go chapped, right? Like almost even bleed. And so I said, you got to get it out. She's not like, if she's not going to, she has to live, right? And the dentist said, this is actually pretty common. Not normal, but common. He said, so he gave me his personal cell and he said, if she's not better by tomorrow, like give it 24 hours, then call me. I will come to your house. I will take the retainer out and we'll forego it altogether. He said, but this really is pretty common if she can, so I'm talking to her about it and she's, right. Like not doing anything like, so I had actually I do connective tissue therapy, Rossiter in studio and Ruth, who was here from Wyoming, from another state where CBD was legal then, wasn't legal in Utah then, but she had it on her. And she said, let's try this on her. And so I, sure. Right. Like I looked at it, I understood what it was. I understood the parts of the plants that it comes from. And so it was like a salve that she had. So I never told Grace what it was, but I took the salve and I just rubbed it on one side of her jaw here. And just like you said, fast acting, within 5 minutes, she was back to her normal self. She was playing, she was talking, she asked for drinks, she was back to eating, and was instant. And so, like you have pet products. We've talked about this also, right? Like kids and pets don't get the placebo effect, right? They're the real. Yeah. And so I was like, well, holy shit.
Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly.
So she knew that was something else that had happened, right? Also. And so then she would ask for it eventually. But like, just like you said, eventually, like she probably had like maybe 4 or 5 doses over the time, and she had the retainer for years, but then didn't use it after probably the first month. So I love that idea that this is what we're saying is that if we need something on the outside of us, absolutely. We live in a world of like 8 billion plus people that have these ideas to create CBD and all the other things. So let's utilize that. And then we can come from within. And so that was my like, the light bulb went on moment. And same as you, I've tried so many different products, so many different lines.
Yeah.
And yeah, you've definitely got something going with Playful Heart, your company. So I just wanted to share with everyone that's my why. And it just felt like there was this beautiful connection between what I offer at my company, what you offer at your company, and the direction we're trying to move with helping people.
Yeah. One other thing that I love that connects your beliefs and our beliefs together is that all of our products are Reiki infused. Yeah. And so they're all meant for healing. They're all meant for love. Every one of them is put together with love and purpose. And all of them, when we give them to people that are gifted, we're helping them to be able to heal, and this energy of healing and unconditional love inside of it too.
Yes. Yeah. And also it's pharmaceutical grade. So it's also a very high-end brand for a very affordable price. So it's very comparable to the very high-end CBDs, but more affordable. And we've been voted the best tasting. Yes. And I love actually watching people do it. So they'll go and try CBD once they've had it before and they go, oh gosh. And then they taste ours and like, holy crap, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, it starts with the why, right? The reason, like, why would I choose this company? I feel like that's like the undertone of it, whether, and this is felt like we talked about the energy. It's felt in just looking at the label and filling the bottles that you put the CBD in. But then the next thing is the education, how much education and how you've really educated yourselves in the product line, right? You could talk for like days and days and days about that. And then, of course, the taste too, right? Like so many people are putting it in like their drinks to water it down because they don't like the taste of it. This really is, like you said, Shane, it's like the old school Banaka, right? Because it's this mint.
Yeah, that's what it tastes like.
Right. And I've had like the mint kind of infused, right, in the CBD. It does not, like, this is not the very oily, I can't swallow, oh, I don't want to taste it kind of feeling. It tastes really good. And so that's another whole thing, you know, especially if you're using it on kids, that they would be able to, they would want it. They would ask for it probably even, right?
Because they're the real
Yeah.
critics, right? They'll let you know, you go take it and they're like, nope, never again, mom. Yep.
Yep. And, you know, and pets too, like we could talk about that, just noticing when you give it to pets and stepping back, like you said, a lot of people will give it to their pets first and then notice the change in them and then be like, oh, well, let me, you know, can I get in on this action? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny because I always call it the gerbil approach or the test gerbil.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, I'm going to try it on my dog first.
Yeah.
I'm going to see how it works. And then they watch their dog completely change, watch him getting those aches and pains and stuff like that. And you're like, maybe it could work for me.
Into it. Absolutely. I'm going to put up this right here. Here's a couple of different ways you can purchase. If you're local, I would love to meet you in person. There's my address to my studio. It's 13276 South, 5600 West, which is Rosecrest in Harriman. I am there a lot in studio. Right now I'm at home in my apartment. They're doing some construction in the studio. So probably I'm going to say, send me a PM regardless, just because we'll get my hours up on the website. We'll get my hours on your website as well. But for now, the best way is to send me a PM. I can send you a direct link to purchase. We can have a conversation. If there's anything I don't know, like you just tell me your symptoms, what you're looking for, right? Your, the relief and the goals. And then if I'm not 100% sure as to the product line to suggest for you, I would reach out to Ashley and Shane. We'd make sure that we're getting the right thing for you, right? The right combination. Because you offer lots of different sprays, sublingual, gummies. Like there's lots of different options for anyone that, you know, has like the texture or whatever it might be. And then, you know, if you are not local here in Utah, also just, you could send me a private message here on Facebook and, you know, you could just say CBD and I'll reach out to you. We can have a conversation and see what's the best product for you. Yeah.
I love it.
Great. Well, anything else?
I actually, do you care if I tell my story just super?
Please.
Super okay. So after I watched all my kids, they all use it, every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And then watching her fibromyalgia from like everyday occurrence down to like once a month now, which is crazy. Because before it's like the wind would come and she'd be like, ow. Right. And you're like, that was a wind. I don't know what's wrong here.
Right.
But then I'm like, okay, I've suffered from migraines 3 times a week my entire life. Mm-hmm. And it's a type that was stopping life type, where I would basically couldn't see you. I'd possibly throw up or I'd collapse or, I mean, just the severe, right? Yeah. I'm like, you know, I want to try it. Maybe this is for me. Because after everyone takes care of themselves, then daddy takes care of them. Mm-hmm. And so then I started taking it. I started taking it absolutely every single day. And then the cool thing about ours, not only can you do the tinctures where you drop it right in your mouth, then I started rubbing it on where my migraine started. It always starts like right here, the top of it up, or sometimes goes in my temples. But literally I'd rub that oil right onto it. And within that 5 to 20 minutes, it was roughly about 10 minutes for me. Mm-hmm. But then it would just calm down that muscle. And then my endocannabinoid system was repairing itself. So I started seeing results. And now I only have 1 migraine a month. There it is. One guy, I'm all over here. 1 migraine.
The opposite of what you think.
Yeah. Yeah. It was blowing my mind because I spent $20,000 trying to get rid of my migraines with nothing. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, it was only 1 a month. That's like a huge, huge deal for me. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
Yeah, that's incredible.
He was searching everywhere trying to figure it out. He went through PT. He went through all types of different programs, doctors. He went and got imaging done. Like there's so many things that we tried to help him with that because I needed my husband back too. And CBD did it in moments. It was so fast.
I know the benefits are just like, you know, I put it up on the ticker back here. I'm going to put up Eddie's comment right here really fast though. You guys are amazing, wonderful parents and beautiful. Aww. Thank you. Can't wait to order. You're so welcome, Eddie. But you know, like we were right before we hopped on live, I was like, okay, we got to narrow it down. Right.
Yeah.
So many flipping benefits, like even just sharing with my daughter, just the, like that kind of stuff. Right. So it's fast acting. It's a mood booster. It really helps to release the anxiousness. It decreases the inflammation, which if you can decrease inflammation, you naturally decrease any kind of pain that's going on in the body. So we tried to put it in this neat little package with a bow of like all the benefits, but the benefits are like so vast, right? And they go on and on and on in both ways of releasing the negative and amplifying the positive as well.
Yes, exactly. I love it.
Thank you for sharing your story as well. It's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate your story too.
Yeah.
And your story.
Our triangulation of stories.
Right.
Yeah. So I have a good stock of supply in the studio for anyone that is local. Otherwise, I had someone actually yesterday that was asking me about the bath bombs. And I was like, oh, that's the one thing I don't have in studio, but I can get them. Right. So I can get them for you. So anything that, I would just encourage you to send me a private message and reach out. I've even talked about this where, it might be something that I offer with CBD that goes hand in hand with certain courses, certain things that I teach at first, right? Like you said, it's almost like taking the edge off right now. Let's get you into it. And then, right, like this client that like the byproduct is, I never promised anything like that, but I just know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It just is. And so, yeah.
One of the biggest things we've noticed is when people take it, when we're doing like energy sessions and helping them through trauma or anything else like that, when they take the CBD, it's able to calm the mind down.
Yeah.
And then you'll actually notice that the energy and all the other stuff that you don't typically feel because you're clear up here, you are actually able to focus now. And it helps out tremendously just on that stuff alone.
Yeah, it just like opens up and allows the walls to come down so that you can heal faster and you're not feeling like you need to protect yourself as much. And we notice better healing.
Yeah, I know. I could geek out on this stuff all day long. Like I've studied the brain for so many years, and to understand exactly what happens in the synapses and the amygdala, like all of that, I could go like, I know we could geek out on this all day long. Right?
So for sure.
Right. We'll just say that it works. So, yeah, I feel like, this keeps coming up for me. So I'm just going to say it out loud here also, and especially because we've mentioned Reiki a couple of times. I think that I'm at the place too, where I'm really wanting to help and reach vast numbers and big numbers of people, no matter where you are. And so my Reiki master teacher has invited me to come in. I'm going to do a live in her group. It's in 40 minutes. So if you want to be a part of that, send me a private message and I'll let you know how you can join the group. It's a public group, but you do like it's protected, right? So like to get through the walls of, yes, I'm here in honor of everyone else, right? I was like the namaste kept coming to mind. So I just wanted to say that for anyone that's like, well, I'm not necessarily at the place just yet where I can pay for anything right now. Everything is energy. So it just kept coming up as we were talking through this conversation. So I'm gonna offer some Reiki when we go into that session. I'm gonna take people through a meditation and visualization. The recording will be there so you can come back to it, right? The energy of that. So I just wanted to mention that if this is something that you're interested in, even if you're watching this on the replay, you can send me a private message and I can let you know how you can join that group and go back and watch the replays. And it's something that she's invited me into monthly. So I'll come in and I'll continue doing my thing in there.
I love it. How cool.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for being here. I think this is the start of a beautiful relationship.
Me too. I enjoy it.
Me too. Like likewise. So again, anyone, let me just put this up there. If you're being called to this, send me a private message. We'll hook you up, right? Again, love to meet you in studio. If you're not local, I don't know, maybe it's worth a trip to Utah. It's beautiful in Utah. You can get a waterfall hike and get CBD. Yes, so powerful as well, right?
Thank you.
Sometimes I like putting up these comments in here because I
love that. I can see them. Thank you.
Yeah, them in here, Yeah. So, all right. Well, with that, I think we'll sign off unless there's anything else you want to kind of seal the container here with, Ashley, Shane.
No, we're just really excited to partner up with you. We love that our stories coexist together.
Mhm.
And I think it's going to bring healing to so many people. And I'm really excited about that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Coexist. I love that word. Yes.
I love how you met so many things that this is a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love your energy. I love your message you're giving out to everyone. And this is going to be absolutely beautiful as far as helping out so many people and people helping out other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that, you know, if whomever comes along this video live or on the replay, it's a sign, right? It's a sign for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. With that, I'll clear my throat chakra and we will sign out. And I look forward to hearing from everyone. Have an amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Of course.
I appreciate you.
Likewise. You guys can stay right there and I'll stop the broadcast and then we'll talk on the back end.
Oh, perfect.